So, Felix, what would you say were like moments that deepened the connection we had, our relationships? So, for me, one of the moments would be when it made like the best, best okra. So, in our language, we call it ilalasepo.
Hey guys, welcome back to Thrive with the Bummy Days. And as always, if you're new here, I am Felix.
And I'm Olanike.
And it's so good to have you join us. Our channel is basically about parenting, mental health, family health, helping individuals achieve healthy balance. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about a topic we started on our previous video, which is our love journey. You know, we talked about the part one and it was really interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it was. So if you've not watched the part one before seeing this video, please go back and watch it so you can follow us on the love journey.
Exactly. So if you haven't watched part one, just please go back, have a feel about it before you come to listen to the part two. So following up on that, before we dive straight into it, if you enjoy our video, please hit the subscription button. Put on your notification bell so you can be notified when we drop new videos. Like, share with your loved ones. And we are so delighted that you have stayed tuned to our channel. Now, grab a cup of coffee or tea or popcorn or whatever you've got and let's dive straight into it.
Yes, let's get straight into it. So, Felix, what would you say were like moments that deepened the connection we had, our relationships? In your own opinion, what do you think?
Oh, there are multiple moments, and I think there are really countless moments. And I would say one of those moments when things were really tough. You probably remember that was sometimes in 2017 when I had to switch from a job I was doing at a very, it was a really short notice period at that time, and you were really welcoming, because it was actually one of the toughest moments then in my career. I had a job that I was doing, and I was all of a sudden transferred within 2-3 days or something like that.
It was less than that, because actually I think you went for a night shift and you got a letter in the morning.
Exactly.
And you were supposed to resume to the new place on Monday.
Yes.
So everything was literally less than 48 hours.
It was.
Yes.
And it was really miles apart.
Yes. So you needed to figure out where to stay, how to go there. And it was like uprooting your life all of a sudden without notice.
If you remember, I had to pack all my stuff in the car, although I still kept my accommodation where I was. It's really quite distance,
Yes.
Got the notice on a Friday and then had to resume into the new job on a Monday. And that moment, and I'm going to really talk about that in a minute. That moment, because you were really there. You were, I think at that time we were no longer friends. We had started dating,
yes,
I think, and you had an accommodation around where I was being posted to.
Yes.
And you said, oh, that's fine. You can come stay with me. So we stayed together for, and, at that time I was still thinking, how am I going to sort accommodation out? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And you just said, well, it's going to be all right. So, accommodation, everything was, because I had you in that place, it just sort of smoothing that transition. So that moment was one of those moments that's really deep in convinced me that no, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I think for me, I'll stick to that moment for now.
For me, I think there are probably 2 occasions. And by the way, we started dating in April, I think. Yeah, we met around February.
Yes, that's right.
We started dating in April.
Yes.
So for me, one of the moments would be when I had to visit him at his place. So I said in the last video that that's a very funny story. So at the time, we're still kind of dating. I think that was the first time I visited.
Yeah.
And then it was really welcoming with the visit. He made like the best okra. So in our language we call it ilalasepo. So it made the best at the time.
So to our audience, that it's called an okra soup. Basically, you put all manners of stuff. There's fish,
like
there's
proteins,
meat.
and then it's a draw soup.
So it's
then
a draw
you take
soup.
it with like swallow.
Yeah.
Yes. So before that, we don't really eat okra in my family because my dad doesn't like it. So one of the day I visited, I think it was the first time I visited you at your place in Epe.
Yeah.
So I went there and he made this soup. It had all kind of protein. If you know it, ilalasepo, and let me 100. It had all sort of things there, and it made me swallow. And it was like eating in a restaurant. It was really good. It was really good. Well,
you don't thank me enough for my food, so.
Well, that was then. It doesn't really cook anymore, but then I could. That was easily the best ilala soup I've eaten, okra soup I've eaten. So it was really good. And then visiting him at that time, I met a few of his friends that were living together, and the way he was like introducing me to them, like, okay, this is my girlfriend. Like, it wasn't like this is my girlfriend. It was like conversation about someone you're about to marry.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, this person sees like a future for us together if he can like talk to you in this manner. So, and after that too, I think very private thing. I think there was an issue where I needed to change my clothes while I was visiting you, and I was really shy about it. And it was like, oh, don't be shy. I will excuse myself. I will excuse my.
I cannot breathe. About you joke. Something is wrong with me.
It still makes jokes about it now, because sometimes when I'm not like fully dressed, say, oh, you that at that time you were like very shy. So it was, so those are like the moments I could hold on to say, okay, those were the moments I felt comfortable with this person. I felt like, okay, this is the person I want to be in my corner. So it was a good moment. Another moment would be, this would be fast forward to like 2017-ish. So you started working in Lagos, in close to my area.
Oh, that was in 2017. Yes,
yeah, 2017-ish. And then it would like offer, we're dating, but it wasn't like, okay, you were gonna settle down for sure. Like, I'm getting married to this person. So the things he was doing, like offering to sort things out with me personally, with my family and all of that. So I just felt, okay, this person really cares. And then if I had any issue, maybe in my house, because at that time, I think I got an apartment, and you were like, okay, don't worry, if you need anything, I'll just get it to you and everything. It was really very relaxing and welcoming. So those are the moments. There are a lot of moments. So those are the one I can like think of right now that really deepen that connection.
Yeah, there are moments, you know, that we've had, and that's the beautiful thing about being in a relationship. So if you're in a relationship, you know, enjoy those moments, you know, build that connection with your partner and build that connection with your loved one. And if you're struggling out there, there are people, communities out there willing to support you. Please don't suffer in silence. Reach out to people, and they will be more than willing to support you. So let's continue. So,
in your own opinion, how would you say we navigated like differences in opinions, personality? Because we sure have the different personalities, background, values, and our background's very different also. Our values, I would say, kind of align a little bit. But in terms of background, personality, and some other cultural differences, there are some things that we kind of had to talk through. And have to talk about.
So, and I think sorry for cutting you short there. I think you've said it. The first thing is talking about it, because oftentimes we don't talk too much about the importance of communicating differences in cultural values and cultural backgrounds and stuff like that. Like you did rightly say, our background is very much different, very, very different. I grew up in a different family setting. Your family was also very unique in terms of settings and stuff like that, but it was different. There was no time where we had, you know, similarities in terms of how we were brought up. You know, when we discussed about it, it was really different. But I think the way we navigated it, first of all, was to understand and respect each other's value. I think that was the first thing.
Background.
Exactly. So because you knew where I was coming from. For example, in my home then, we were not really the party kind of person.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I can't recall
Yes.
ever having to go into, you know, with my parents to like a party. I grew up in a kind of environment where, you know, reading, careers and stuff was probably predominant.
Yeah, I would say your family, not comparing in negative way to mine, would be like a very close-knit nuclear family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
very close-knit.
Exactly.
You guys do the things together within yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And
We were
not like being socially, like a social butterfly. Like
no.
People and have like extended family.
Oh, no.
So it was kind of a difficult thing, but I do still respect that because we can't have different.
Exactly.
So those were the things for me to coming from that background. I have to like say, okay, because he explained to me, okay, we don't have this, we don't do this, we don't do that. It was just really funny because I've not actually met someone that have that kind of dynamic background. So I was just like, okay, to navigate this is what I need to do until date now, because sometimes like things come up when you say, okay, there's a party, and I'm not really a party going person myself, but if I need to go, I need to go. So, and I'll be like, okay, you don't have to come to the party, because obviously I know it's not something that comes naturally and from background. So I'll be like, okay, you don't have to come. Or if someone is saying, okay, call someone else, call like extended family involvement, I'll be like, this is how I grew up, and you need to understand that I need to do this, but you don't have to do it with me, and I'm not gonna go overboard with it. So it was just kind of talking about it and understanding that this is where we are coming from, but this is where we are. What can we do to move forward? You're right. I think what, like you did say, and like I was saying before, it's basically about understanding, you know, and respecting each other's opinion, background, cultural differences and stuff. And the second thing was also accepting it. Yes. Because yes, fine, you respect it, but we got to a stage where we've got to accept it. So I got to accept your background, I got to accept your family, I got to accept, even though it was completely different to mine, I learned to accept it. And that's one thing we need to learn, you know, when we go into relationships or we're in relationships, we've got to sort of learn to accept each other's or one another's background and stuff. It can be difficult. There'll be little hiccups here and there, but then as soon as you grow together and you really love the person, you've got to get to a stage where you accept them for who they are. So I accepted, and that was the acceptance stage. And I think the third thing in terms of what helped us after accepting is to see, you know, similarities, you know, find similarities or find common grounds for both of us to thrive. Another thing I would say is that if there are like cultural or background differences, you need to like explain to like your friends and family that this is it, because sometimes people take offense in saying that oh, this person is not like this person is not like this. You need to be in the corner of your partner to say this is it, this is how
you've got to speak out for your partner,
out for your partner, not saying okay, just leave him. You know, you need to explain to your family and friends that this is where they are coming from, this is how it is, and this is what they can do, and this is what they wouldn't do, you know. So that's really kind of important. In terms of personality, I think for myself, I would say I'm a melancholic person. I don't like going out, doing all that, like talking to people. And you're different, you're choleric. So I would say in terms of personality, I've learned to like come out of my shadow, be out there, speak more about myself, speak up for myself, because I don't like arguments. And it kind of really makes me emotional. And he knows that sometimes it can be a bit like about it, but along the line we've got to a point we learn about each other's weaknesses, what we want to like go forward with. So going forward, sharing, let's say, a story about us working together to overcome a challenge.
That I know we've got countless stories for that, and I'm going to talk about the most recent one. Not very recent. It's a journey back in the UAE, and I'm just going to give a snippet there. we'll probably put a picture of where we stayed.
That was like decades ago, but it was just a few years ago.
Yeah,
it feels
it's
like
just
another lifetime.
Exactly. And at that time when we moved into the UAE, this is just going to be a summary of that. Because hopefully we can do a video about that and more about talking about resilience and really, really growing together. So, we got into the UAE. We had nobody, no friends, no family, nothing. But then we had each other.
Yes.
The idea was to sort of, go and, and just like, I've always been a go-getter. If I want to do something, I go for it. I really don't care about what. Yeah, I think about the challenges, but I say, well, if I want anything,
get it done. Just go for it.
I go for it. That's the thing. That's me.
I think about it, like the pros and the cons. What can we do? It's good for both of us. Because sometimes it's like do so many things, and I'm like, okay, let's think about it.
Exactly.
But I've learned to say, okay, we need to do it. If we need to do it, we need to do it. So it's like coming out of my shell also to say, okay, let's do it. We're gonna face it together. Let's see how it goes.
So back to that story about how we navigated those challenges together. I remember stepping into this new ground, completely different culture, different environment, different people. And we said to ourselves, well, we've come here, we've got to be successful. One of the things we did was to identify what kind of job we could do. One of the things we also did was to identify the area we could stay. One of the, some of the other things we did was to try and align what we did together. And I wouldn't say because quite honestly, we were, we had good success during our time. It was quite short, not relatively short, not very short, I mean. Just about maybe relatively short or something like that. Yeah, about 2 years. And it was successful because, it's still one of those memories that still sticks in my head. And that's the story I would share. Have you got one you want to share?
Exactly. That's what comes to my mind really, because our journey in the UAE was full of good memories, but we had some challenges along the way. Things that tested our relationship as partners. There are a lot of things, we're still going to talk about that in the video. There are a lot of things that tested our relationship then. So that's why I would say, like, that's a bit of where we had some challenges, but it was also like what strengthened. That was
it was the moment. It was the moment that brought us together.
That strengthened our relationship together, because we're like, okay, we had a huge challenge. We talked about how to face it. We both kind of expressed our concerns, and the other person respected it, and we moved forward with it. So it was really a deciding moment in our relationship.
Exactly.
So, Felix, for people out there who are in a relationship or are married or things like that, what advice would you say would you give for people that are beginning a relationship, or what advice would you give people that are looking to strengthen their relationship?
I think I will say two things. If you're out there looking to start a relationship, or looking to, let me say, start a relationship before strengthening a relationship, the first thing I would say is find somebody that your values align together.
Very important.
Very important, because you cannot be driving. So if both of you are not driving to a particular destination, then there's no point, because if you try to convince the other person to arrive at the destination with you, together, and you can't make compromise, then obviously you're not met together. That's the way I see it. So you've got to identify that one person that, I don't know, 1, 2 persons or whatever, that aligns with your value, and stick to that. And then the second thing is, you've really got to be open-minded. We don't go into a relationship being stereotyped or being closed-minded. You've got to really be open-minded, because you're coming to deal with someone with different personality, different background, different ideology, different person completely. And whilst we treat individuals with respect, we've also got to be open-minded to learn from their culture, to learn from their ideas and stuff. So now, to answer the next question, which I'm then going to leave you to also buttress on it, is strengthen. What strengthens relationship? Every relationship goes through tough times. And like I've always said, tough time never lasts, but tough people do. There will always be times where you feel, oh, is this person meant for me? Is that person not meant for me? And I think one thing that has helped us is that we've both decided that we are in this relationship.
It's gotta work.
There's no going back. We have that clear in our head. And the second thing is to sort of really have open and honest communication.
Yeah.
There are conversations. It can be tough. You get to a stage where some of those conversations can be really tough to have.
And intense.
But then, intense. But you've got to have it.
Yes.
Because being having that communication would probably start the healing process or help strengthen your relationship.
Yes, to buttress on the communication part. So in early stages of relationship, communication is absolutely important.
It is.
Talk about everything to the point of how many children are you planning to have? When we have children, what religion, what church do you want them to go? What faith do you want them to assume? Things like that. Where do you want to live? Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Talk about everything that comes to your head.
Even the smallest things like what car you want to drive,
talk
area
about
you want to stay.
Everything,
all those kind of stuff,
everything that comes to your head, just discuss it. Because even discussing everything, you still feel like there's some things that you would have talked about. So for us, like so many things we talked about and are manifesting now. We thank God for that. So those are the things. And then commitment, like you said, open-minded. You need to be committed to a relationship. Once you say this is the person I'm choosing to go on this journey with, being committed is really important. And this means like if you have argument, resolve the argument before it start lingering on and things like that. So you need to be committed to the relationship and just see how it goes.
Exactly. So if you've enjoyed our second part of this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified, like and share our video. And the trailer for the third part is going to be hot as well. We're going to be discussing few bits and bobs as to our relationship journey, our love journey, and we are so thrilled to have you with us, our audience, our listeners, and we are so delighted that you've chosen to listen to our videos. We love you and we are indeed grateful for that. Till we see you next time, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.